Welcome to Coral Gables for the first and second rounds of the 2019 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship. Up third today is Miami, who opens up play tomorrow night versus FGCU. Miami is making the 14th NCAA postseason appearance in program history and will serve as hosts for the first and second round for the second time in the past 3 years. Miami enters tomorrow night's game with a 24-8 record and as a number 4 seed. Joining us on the dais is head coach Katie Meier, who has led UM to 8 NCAA appearances in the last 9 years and 5 straight. Coach, if you can start with an opening statement, we'll go into questions.
Well, we are very aware of the honor. I believe we earned it, but we're very humbled and appreciative to be able to host. We want to thank the committee for recognizing our body of work and for letting us show off our university and show off our amazing fan support and our tremendous administration. So we're fired up about that. It's an entire university deal here. It's not just a women's basketball program. You know, one of the first things you hear, one of the first people you hear from is the president of the university congratulating you, and then you have the athletic department rallying to get fans and support and plan events and everything else. So it's something that we're all sharing right now, and I'm happy for us to be the window to this amazing department. So we're thrilled, and we welcome all the teams that are here.
Great. We'll go into questions for Coach Meier. Just ask everyone if they wait for a mic before answering.
Oh, hey, Coach. Matt Shodell from Canesport and Rivals. So I want to get your take. Now you've been able to examine the film of your opponent. What's your thoughts just on the first-round matchup with FGCU? What do you think of them? What are their strengths? How do you match up with them?
They're fantastic. I mean, everybody's going to say, wow, you know, they're better than their seed. They are. They're fantastic. I mean, I had to go back to 3 months ago to see them lose. I've never had to do that. So they're on a great streak. They're dangerous. They're threatening. They're really a lot more athletic in terms of their speed and how dangerous their defense is than people are giving them credit for. And so they're not just relying on the three-point shot. It's an incredible weapon. Obviously, it's a tough matchup for us. And they're probably saying, well, you know, those bigs are a tough matchup for them. So stylistically, it's going to be an interesting game. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on this particular game because if you're in women's basketball, you know how good Gulf Coast is, and you're sitting there a little bit, you know, hey, Miami, you're paying attention? We know.
Coach Mike DePasquale, Channel 7, nice to see you.
Hi.
You had said a month ago before the Notre Dame game that this team was coming together the way you envisioned it. Mm-hmm. Do wins against Notre Dame, where they were ranked at the time at home, you had Pittsburgh in between, then you go to Louisville. Does that, and they were ranked number 2 at the time. Does that prepare you for moments like this, a tournament like this?
Well, I mean, okay, you can't take those wins away from us. And if they show up tomorrow, they'll show up in a non-panic, in a faith. You know, I love confidence, but sometimes that comes and goes. But I think faith is just confidence with a lot of patience to it. And so, you know, we know what we've accomplished this year, and we know the games that we've won. So when we're on the ropes a little bit, which we will be, I believe we'll be faithful and not say, well, my shot's off. Okay, we've found ways to win not hitting. You know, their defense. We've seen this defense before, so we do have that in our bag, and you just can't take that away from this team. We really need that.
If I could follow up, 2 of your players are going to come up, Laura and Mesa. They've had experience internationally, big-time tournaments, big-time games. Right. The 2 of them are connected in many ways. Does that help you, too, when you go into a tournament like this, where they've been in pressure situations?
Yeah, there's moments where, you know, and they're leaders, okay? So it's not just their experience. It's we're very close. We've grown up a little bit together too. I mean, I first saw them when they were 16 years old in Lithuania. You know, that's when I first saw them. And they were playing on a U19 team, and I'm like, these 2 are 16? Like, they were playing 3 years up. And, you know, we were the USA team, and they were the up-and-comers, and they were playing a great tournament. So I just loved them from the first time I saw them. And so I've seen them fight. I've seen them grow. You know, it's a 6 or 7 year deal now, and they're very special to me. So, yeah, we turn to each other. We turn to each other for other things. I mean, it's been a wonderful journey, and they mean the world to me. But, yes, they're experienced. They're smart. They know where the ball should go. And if they're feeling good, Miami usually plays really well.
I have one for you, Coach. A lot of broadcasts or reaction from opposing head coaches throughout the season. Almost instantly, the remarks are about having two of the players up here, Mesa and Beatrice. And can you remember, oftentimes I feel coaches have described it as a luxury and just having two post players that are as good and complementary as they are. Have you ever had a duo quite like them? And can you remember ever coaching a duo quite like them?
No. No, because they share the ball. It's not like we have these two bigs and that's all we do. They share the ball. They put the ball where it needs to go. And I think that's something Beatrice really completely developed since she's been here. I think last year sitting out and watching our style of play and watching some of our comments and our phrases and our philosophies and our values in this program about Miami shots. Look at their shooting percentages. They don't force, so as good as they are, they're great basketball players, and they just happen to be tall. And I think that's sometimes people miss that about those two, but they're brilliant. They're brilliant players.
The two coaches who came up here before you talked about their veteran leadership, that they have a lot of very old teams. The first game features two very old teams. It feels like age has almost been kind of neutralized in this regional as far as teams with postseason experience. But for your own group, what can they draw on from their previous NCAA tournament experiences, and how important is it to have been in a big-time games before to know what it takes to succeed?
Yeah, there's pressure and there's stress, and I think the biggest job of a coach in the NCAA tournament is to make sure the pressure's high and the stress is low, and that hinges on preparation and a little bit of faith. So the same moment can cause you to stress out, or you can be like, oh, that's pressure, and I feel like pressure brings you to your highest level, and that's what we're trying to do. So there's internal pressure, now we've got external pressure, and can we find our zone within all that? That's what we're doing, and I think veterans get that, and when you say that speech, the speech I gave 2 days ago in the film room to the freshmen, they're looking at you, what does that mean? Because they don't have a reference point. So everyone in this tournament, all of their players, most of the players get that. They get it, and they understand that zone that we got to operate in.
Any other questions for Coach Meier?
Coach, you've been in different situations. Are you
Define that, please.
Well, different games,
yes,
different teams, on the road, underdog, favorite, etc. Are you superstitious in any way? And if I can follow, do you go through a ritual? If it's worked, I keep doing it.
Routine is my word, right? And yes, absolutely, I have a routine. It's not superstition. It's just, you're guaranteed about 30, if you're lucky, 35 games a year as a coach. You get that. They last about 2 hours. So I have 70 hours. That's going to define, my 365 days and my staff and my support staff and my players and all this other stuff. And those 70 hours, I'm going to be awesome. All right? And in order to be awesome in those 72 hours, I want to have a routine. So we believe in that. If it gets a little bit upset, we can deal with it. But in terms of saying, you know what, this is my comfort zone, this is what we need to do, it'll be very much the same. And I think that that's just a way to make sure that emotionally you're good. Because I owe it to this university to be great in 70 hours a year.
Great. Thank you very much, Coach Meier.